Hi there, so this is a review of my 2022 BMC URS 014. I mean, it's a hell of a mouthful for a bike, and for the eagle-eyed of you people, you will see there isn't drop bars on this. I'll get onto that later in the video, because when I did buy it 2 years ago, it did come with drop bars. So basically this is a carbon fibre gravel bike made by BMC. Comes equipped with what people call a mullet setup, so it's got the SRAM GX electric mountain bike cassette and shifting in the back, and it was paired with SRAM rival shifters and brake levers. So full carbon fibre frame. This one has got the MTT, which is basically a elastomer type suspension system. It's basically just vibration dampening. You've got two little rods that go through here connecting the seat tube to the seat stays. They move up and down, and this little elastomer just kind of provides some kind of vibration cushioning. I don't think you really notice it, but maybe if you got back to back with a rigid gravel bike, you might notice it. Also on the front, this version came with BMC, well, Redshift, BMC marked up, but it is essentially a Redshift suspension stem, where you've got little elastomers, and it pivots on here on this going through. It's like a little bushed pivot here, and little elastomers run down there. You can change the the density of the elastomers to make it softer or harder. D-shaped carbon seat post, which gives a bit more flex. DT Swiss spline wheels, I think they're the 1800s they're called, yeah, G1800s. Gravel alloy wheel set, not the lightest, not the best, but you know, do a decent job. SRAM rival cranks, and yeah, that's kind of pretty much for spec. The original bars on it were Eastern EA70s, some aluminium gravel bars. I suppose what's a bit different about this bike is the geometry, which for a gravel bike made 4 years ago, it's pretty forward thinking. It was a 70-degree head angle, and in a size medium it's got a 415mm reach, which for a gravel bike is quite a decent amount of reach. I mean, it's more similar to a 90s or early 2000s cross-country mountain bike with some of its figures. Not the lightest, I think it was just under 10 kilos in its original spec, and do you know what, it was all right. It was my first gravel bike really, and it was my attempt to kind of get off the mountain bikes and do a bit of gravel riding. Now, as you can see from the flat bars, I never quite got on with the drop bars. There was nothing wrong with the drop bars, I just don't feel comfortable on them, and I did try. Off-road, I just felt like I've got a Santa Cruz high tower, and why am I getting battered about on this thing when I could be on my high tower? And then I decided to put the Panaracer tyres on, what I've got on now. So it's a virtually slick, just a very slight tread on it, and then the front one's classed as the SS, so a bit of tread on the sides, but not much on the middle. The idea of that being to use it mainly then on road, and a bit of really kind of smooth manicured gravels or towpaths. After 2 years of trying, I still just don't get on with drop bars. Just don't. People can make all the comments they want. It's a personal thing. So I tried to sell the bike, couldn't sell the bike. I'd had it for sale for 6 months, got silly offers on it, and just decided I'd rather maybe invest a little bit of money, change it over to flats. Luckily, because it's electronic shifting, the gear shifting was dead simple. All I needed to do was buy any SRAM Access pod shifter. Just got a little friend coming over to say hello while I'm doing this review, so this guy here is going to be in the background. So yeah, I changed it over for the SRAM Access pod shifter, paired up straight away. Got in touch with SRAM, and they said that any of the level line brakes would pair up with the rival brake calipers, because they are post mount rather than IS mount. Apparently it's difficult to fit on mountain bike calipers. This is just the information I gleaned off people, but got it done recently and it's all worked well. Gone for some Ergon GA3 grips, which my girlfriend had on her hybrid bike, and worked lovely. And the reason I went for the DMR bars is because they were in the sale, and as this is an experiment, I didn't want to go and invest in a set of carbon bars and then end up still not getting on with the bike. I went for a fairly high rise so I could slam the stem. Got to admit, that was a bit for aesthetics. I think it looks wicked slammed down. And as a bike, it's great. I mean, it's efficient to pedal with the drop bars on. Found it comfortable enough, but just not for me. I know one of my friends who rides drop bars, had a ride on it, said it was great. So I think this is more about, it's a good bike. There's loads of reviews out there about the URS by people who ride loads of gravel, and that's my problem, is I've not got a huge spectrum of comparison. Most of my comparison is of mountain bikes. But it was more about changing it over to the flat bars and seeing how it felt. So this is my first ride out on it. The bars might need to get chopped down a little bit more. The 750 at the minute, they might need to go down to maybe 740, or I don't know. I'm going to leave that for now, but it definitely feels slightly weird. Obviously feels a little bit twitchy, just because you're going from having virtually no leverage on the bars to having all this leverage. Brakes work fine. Luckily, because of that long reach on the top tube, I've been able to just move the seat back a little bit on its rails. Might need to go a bit further, and I don't feel overly kind of compact or compressed on the bike, and feel like there's enough room. And so yeah, I mean, as a gravel bike, it was doing its job great. I just didn't gel with drop bars, and I didn't really gel with like kind of gravel riding in the peaks for me, because I preferred being on a mountain bike and being able to hit the rocky stuff like really fast, and just kind of with a bit more comfort. Getting older now, so you know, just a bit more comfort's always nice. But as a bike, I do love the frame. I love, it's hard to maybe pick up, but it's got this wicked just like white speckly paint, and then this kind of asymmetrical colour to the fork I love. So you've got the black on one side, and then just these odd little bits of green, really subtle little BMC bits on it. I bought the Panaracer tyres in, I think it's berry or whatever colour. They bring limited edition ones out every couple of years, I think, and I mean, people might laugh at them, but man, I just love them. I mean, it's not like there's some kind of crappy tyre made by some no-name brand. They are like, you know, Panaracer Gravel Kings. They just come out with these odd colours now and then, and I just think it's suited really well with the fluoro green against the pink and the black and the white. Just yeah. So yeah, there you go, flat bar gravel bike, and so far so good. Just kind of don't know, every time I look at this bike, it just makes me think of like a stealth fighter or something. I mean, it might sound cheesy, but yeah, the rival shifting was great. I loved that. I love the electronic shifting, and like I said, you can definitely tell the vibration dampening a little bit on your backside. And on the red shift stem, I've got quite firm elastomers in it a minute, because when you've got the drop bars on it, the drop bars come obviously in front of the stem and they actuate the stem down a bit more, whereas these bars are almost behind the pivot of the stem, if that makes sense. So I'm probably going to put the softer elastomers in there, see if it just provides a bit more cushioning. But yeah, a bit of an alteration to the original BMC, but so far so good. Just thought I'd post this up because, you know, so far I don't think I've seen many people flat bar one at BMC URS. I'm probably sure there's a lot of reason why people don't, but yeah, great bike, just not for me in terms of it being a gravel bike with the drop bars on, and that is me just not being able to get on with drop bars. Ideally I would have sold this bike and probably bought a cross-country hardtail mountain bike, but you know, the market is just so saturated with second-hand bikes, especially gravel bikes. They're just 10 a penny on the second-hand market. This one didn't sell. I'm not just going to give it away for nothing, so yeah, reinvested that bit of money in it, and first ride out on it, yeah, loving it so far. It's really kind of reinvigorated my desire to get on this bike. Any questions or comments, by all means feel free to do so, even if those comments are telling me, you knobhead, why did you put flat bars on gravel bike? But yeah, anyway, and goodbye from my little co-hosts here. They've not had much to say, but ever present in the video. All right, like I said, sorry it's not much of a review, but I don't feel like I've got much to compare it to as a gravel bike. Yeah, like I said, questions, or if you want me to do more of an in-depth review and talk more about it, I'm more than happy to do that. Just got a bit inspired to do a video while I was up here on the edge of the peaks. All right.